In my demo, I would like to guide you through an example of creation of a vendor through ITMDS and utilizing all of the things that were just mentioned beforehand, and with the focus on first time right and validating against external data sources, but also performing sanction screening at the same time. So as a user entering ITMDS as a requester of this business partner, I would have my screen and my what and where already predefined. So as a purchasing requester, I would be creating a vendor in my company code where I'm assigned to, controlled by authorizations. And I would simply start guided from left to right with the asterisk next to the tab, maintaining mandatory fields in each of the sections. So when I click this, I can see that mandatory fields are in bold letters, and here we are reducing the noise by only displaying the fields that are really mandatory, instead of all of the address fields that potentially could be there. So in my example, I could get an invoice. Based on that invoice, I have some information about the vendor, so I will just paste that in. I know that it's a vendor from Stockholm and in Sweden. It is also a company. And the moment I maintain the name and the country, I'm prompted that I should validate that business partner in CDQ cockpit. So the button for that is right here. And as the user, I would go in there and start the validation or checking that this business partner is correct and we have the right data. So in the selection screen, I can add additional information to add to the score. So I had a VAT number, so I can provide that immediately in here and then search. Now I get a list of results on the bottom based on the input data, and I see which external data sources I found results in. So we have different ones. We have these. We have the golden record from CDQ. So I can compare that the VAT registration number is actually correct, and I will select the golden record ID from the community from CDQ. I can compare what I have provided versus what that data source gives, and then I just select which fields I want to transfer. So the moment I click transfer fields, this information will be transferred to the creation of the business partner, and at the same time we are performing sanction screening on that information in the background. So I press the button, sanction screening is running in the background, and my business partner information is completed. It enriched the data with house number, postal codes, correct format for the name of the company, and so on. And as sanction screening has been performed in the background, I can see its results in this tab here. The asterisks means that we have some hits and we need to perform manual validation. That is because that vendor is on a watch list with the matching score being 80 or above, which requires manual verification by a compliance officer. In this situation, the requester has only one option. They have to save the request, which will send the workflow to the compliance officer in the organization. So if I do that, we send a push workflow. And as a compliance officer, I would maybe get a notification and find the workflow in my inbox I could go into it just by clicking execute and then navigate to that tab. So the compliance officer will review and then they can either delete the request, simply stopping the creation of the business partner, reject it back to the user for corrections, or if everything is okay, they can write that this was manually validated, add some extra notes, and set status that it was manually validated. The moment they do that, we are logging the information that they have done that manually and when, and they can just forward the workflow back to business, back to the next workflow step, in this scenario, for example, to finance. So they will also save the request, and next it would be a finance user who would receive the workflow. Similarly, they find a workflow item in their inbox that they can execute and continue with the creation. Their step would be to add bank data, and having IBAN, they can just paste that or just maintain field by field the bank account. And the moment they add it, we have to validate it against CDQ